Okay, I'm back. Yes, another video till Monday. I'm going to share this. I don't know if the rest of the world is hearing about what's going on. Let me read this one to you. We were told, you know, that the Jabiru passports are safe and your check-ins are safe and to do it and not stress about it. And it runs on the Amazon server, and we know Amazon's been hacked and they give out the keys and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to share this one. COVID certificates can be forged within 10 minutes due to an obvious security flaw. And this had never been checked. It was just put up, and yeah, really, really. So 2 hours ago, posted, updated 1 hour ago. Near perfect forgeries of the federal government's Jabiru digital cert can be made in 10 minutes using free software a member of the public has discovered. Richard Nielsen, a software engineer in Sydney, has found an obvious security flaw in the Express Plus Medicare app, allowing him to make Jabiru certificates with any name and date of birth and featuring the background emanations meant to prevent forgery. The Prime Minister has previously said the certificates are a credible and effective way for states to administer exemptions from aspects of lockdowns. The discovery of the flaw could put a hold on the state and federal governments, allowing the more freedom. Mr. Nelson found the security hole in the current system, which was launched more than 2 months ago, while mucking around with the Express Plus Medicare app one evening last week. It's a very basic flaw. I thought surely there'd be some kind of mitigation to stop this kind of attack, but there wasn't. Other security experts have confirmed it's the kind of obvious vulnerability that would have been picked up in a basic security audit of the app. To demonstrate how easy it is to forge certificates, Mr. Nielsen took 10 minutes to make the counterfeit certificate, which had the name of this reporter who hasn't yet had all of their jabs. So, how long until the people turn to the black market to get this shit done? Unreal. I don't think it's a good idea to get out there among the anti-jab crowd, he said. People who don't want to have a valid certificate can fairly easily present one. The implications of that are left up to the imaginations. Will it be fixed? After discovering the flaw, Mr. Nielsen's detailed instructions. He sent detailed instructions to the government, but has not yet heard back. I bet you he gets a response now. In response to questions from the ABC, a spokesman for the Employment Minister, Stuart Robert, who has ministerial responsibility for the data and digital policy, said the government has itinerary updated proof of Jabiru certificates. The government will continue to update the proof of Jabiru certificates, including bolstering security measures, he said. From the response, it wasn't clear if the government would be patching the vulnerability, which would require an update in the Medicare app. More money for the taxpayers are just, they're just running up debt. It's the children that are going to be paying this and the grandchildren. Security vulnerability is different to the next one identified by Senator Rex Patrick earlier this month. The Senator used a few graphics tools to make a forgery of the PDF export of the vaccine certificate. This only works on the PDF, as the certificate within the app itself is protected against counterfeiting by the animated tick, a live clock and a shimmering coat of arms, similar to the type used for the digital driver's license. As can be seen in the video above, Mr. Nelson's more sophisticated forgery includes those anti-fraud features. Mr. Nelson said the flaw would have been absolutely raised in a security alert. Oh, they didn't do a security audit, he said. It isn't the first time the experienced software developer has poked holes in the government IT systems. He was one of the tech community that found the important vulnerabilities in the app last year, including the fact that the tracking app did not work properly on a locked iPhone. Privacy expert Vanessa Tenge, another prominent member of the tech community, said the Medicare app was flawed, unsurprisingly, after experiencing. Oh, yeah, well, she said, it's very easy to fix that flaw. Would have taken 5 minutes. These aren't going to go away, and these QR, these are here to stay. This checking in to every building you go to, every shopping centre, every shop in that shopping centre, every bloody shop you go to, you put fuel in, you got to check in. It won't go away. It's part of the online social credit. It's what's coming. They've already got the financial side worked out. They've got the credit checks for your history and all that. And all they're going to do is just add the next stage. Certificates have a bigger security problem, she said. Other designs, such as that used by the EU, have digital signature in the form of a QR code that can be verified as a defense against fraud. Such a system would be much harder to trick. They still have to do something a bit like what the EU has done. There has to be some cryptographic way of verifying the information is correct. They can't. That's the thing. They can't verify it. It's... Hi, Alan. Hey, Skull. Hey, Tommy. Oh, okay. Well, you guys are here. You guys in America. Whilst you still can, get out and get the ammo. Whilst you still can. Which one is it? Just gonna share another screen. This one's concerning. Biden administration bans importation of Russian guns and ammo. On the 20th of August 2021, the US Department of State released a fact sheet announcing Russian firearms and ammunition importation would be banned for a minimum of 12 months, starting on the 7th of September 21. New sanctions imposed today under the CBW Act include restrictions on permanent imports of certain Russian firearms, new and pending permit applications for the permanent importation of firearms and ammunition manufactured or located in Russia will be subject to a policy of denial. Sorry, I've got a tickle in my throat. Hang on. Sorry, I had a tickle in my throat. It's just crazy what is going on in the world. Restrictions on the permanent imports of certain Russian firearms. I read that, sorry. The ban is listed as a sanction pursuant of the chemical and... Yeah, that's just an excuse. I'm a Novichok. And that was the British that did that. It wasn't Russia. It was the British. It's been proven that it was the British. It's just... Tommy, it pretty much is martial law, mate. We still... We're not under full lockdown, but we can't cross the border. And if you do cross the border, you've got to be an essential worker. Here, I'll read a little bit of what's happening. This was off Jeff Kennett. He was the ex-premier of Victoria. And this is going to come in today, apparently. 1 kilometre travel only. 1 shop a week. Elderly can shop, but the others are to do it online. No takeaway. No coffee shop, etc. Exercise no more than 1 kilometre from home for 1 hour. They got the alcohol ban with the mask because of that pub crawl the other week with the street pop-up party. Construction sites, right? Now, before this, I think Sydney has the same. At the moment, it's 25% of usual workers are only allowed on the construction site. And if they want to go to the site, they've got to have proved paperwork from the employer or checked out by the police, and they've got to show that paperwork. No childcare. Small stores, small businesses to close. Adults, only medical and carers, essential workers to out. It is basically martial law. The other day, like I said before, there was over 1,300 calls to Lifeline and that was just one state. That was just New South Wales. Thursday or Friday, just gone. Um, I feel for all of these people. It's just scary. Now there's another breaking news, right? This one, like we could see, we know what's going on because we're not silly. We can see it. This is how stupid they must think we are. There has not been a single death from the flu this year, but experts warn of dire times ahead. Restrictions have had a knock-on impact for a different disease, but that could soon change. Have thrown up double donuts of a different kind with no deaths nor hospitalizations in Australia from influenza this year. Leading medical body warns thousands may die from the disease when international travel resumes. Lockdowns, wearing masks, social distancing, and shutting of international borders have contributed to Australia's recording of 435 positive tests for influenza in 2021. The latest, what? How can we? Oh yeah, this. But how can they say we've got no influenza, but then say it had 435 positive cases? The latest Australian Department of Health figures showed that there have been no deaths nor anyone admitted to hospital since the flu season started in April. Having zero deaths in stark contrast pre-pandemic, when 1,080 people succumbed to influenza. According to the Australian Bureau of Statistics, there has not been a death certified due to influenza since late July 2020. Immunisation Coalition Chair Rob Pearce said it may be the calm before the very dark storm when international travel will resume. He said there is usually a rebound effect on the following year after a low number of influenza deaths because of the decrease on the ongoing herd immunity. This year we're nervous. Let's see. And the people are just lapping this up. It's just frustrating. It's just, people are being locked up for even saying that it doesn't exist. Like people are getting locked up for that. One bloke is being portrayed at the moment as a public enemy and a public risk. That's what they're saying. There's another one I want to share. There's a few videos going around of year 12 students just dropping like flies when they have the hub going the other day of the Jabiru. Yeah, this one. And this Dr. Young, she is not elected. She's not elected. Like I noticed in other parts of the world, they have that sort of stuff. She's not elected. We got 6 of them at the moment. These that have all these rules. So they're setting up all these clinics right across the border, and including the regional towns offering vaccinations for the community. And they've stretched it from 8 weeks to 12 weeks. It's just. And what they've basically done from 1 a.m. Saturday, essential workers are required to travel into New South Wales and back will need to have at least 1 dose of the jab as the crisis in New South Wales escalates. Yeah, selected, Skull. Yeah. Hi, Rebecca. Hi, Scotty. Um, yeah. Uh, but, they're saying you can walk into these clinics, but you have to register. Um, yeah, I don't know. And there was on the border, there was at least, they reckon, 1,000 people on the border protesting up here on the Queensland border. And these truckies, mate, they're going to blockade, man. I know they are, and I worry because they've done it before, and yeah. Yeah, I don't get it either, Alan. But the only thing I can put it down to is Australia is always the testing ground for when they want to test shit. It's basically what it is. Queensland is Australia is the testing ground, where we get everything, and then there's this other one, right? When you read the media, they wonder why we don't trust the media. They do it themselves. Um, Now, I found Mr. A was mentioning ABC News had a satanic clip playing at the end of one of their things. So I'll show you that one too. I found that one. New South Wales police issued 940 penalty infringement notices. Most of them are up to $5,000 now. So um, I did see a good thing. I'll share this one quickly. How's this? Medical profession needs it properly regulated on transgenderism and children. So they're trying to regulate it here in Australia. I don't know whether it's going to be good or not, but spoke to an Australian mum whose daughter had a long history of mental health issues, was convinced by a transgender organisation that the answer to all her problems was to turn a boy. All the way along, the mum was sneered at by medical professionals for questioning the process, he said. This is his disgrace. The family has been torn apart and the mum has been ostracised from her daughter, now supposedly her son. And when the mum spoke to one surgeon, this will sicken you. He admitted that 10 years ago, he would never have chopped off a girl's breast off, but now it's all too common. This is out of control. We need a national inquiry to determine that the medical profession is properly regulated when it comes to transgenderism and our children. Scott Morrison, get onto it right now. So that's good that people are actually starting to talk up about this. Yes, I love being out in the bush, mate. Right now, I would love to be out in the bush. I I would be much happier out in the bush. I really would. Um, you can live off the wild herbs. You can live off goanna or kangaroo. There's so much off the land. Um, yeah, well, they're talking about bringing quarantine up to 28 days here as well. That's what they're also talking about. And um, yeah, kangaroos, you can't fry it. You've got to cook it like in a stew or casserole. Kangaroo is actually all right, but it's very chewy meat, and it needs to be slow cooked over a long time. Yeah, High Spirit Woman, spending love from San Francisco, Cisco Cone. Oh, Skull, well, I'm going. I'll be living in caves, mate. Yeah, the New World Order is here. It's been here since the 1500s, when Columbus set sailed. Um, yeah, Alan, I've been taught to live off the land, and I'm trying to teach my boys to do it. My daughter is not interested in it. She reckons I'll be right. Um, yeah, we can't just eat rabbits here. We have a virus, myxomatosis. Um, when they brought the rabbits over, they were breeding like they always do. And they released a virus called myxomatosis, which is kind of like a rabies virus. They altered it and released this virus on the rabbits, and it killed all the rabbits. But yeah, it made them sort of rabid in a kind of a way. Yeah, I mean, when you got to eat to live, like out in the bush, you don't eat every day. That's what I've been taught. If you're out in the bush, you don't need to eat every day. Your body, when you're out there, you just seem to become self-sufficient, and your body produces what it needs. But yeah, like I'll share quickly one where the media was gaslighting us the other day when the New World Order being mentioned was trending. This is like Australia announced videos are falsely claiming a totalitarian government is taking over Australia. US troops are invading the country again. So they make out, right, that all of these videos are going out, making out this and that. But then you got, channels that are owned by Packer and, ABC, which is run by the government, saying this stuff. They're the ones that are doing it.
So the health minister doesn't mean anything is what they're basically saying. So I'll play this and show you the rest. So I will have to pause, I'm sorry.
Social, and that's what the New World Order is. So we're leading by example on social distancing.
Did you get that? Because it wasn't just the health minister saying, it's all over the media.
And that's what the New World Order is. So we're leading by example more like this from now on. Because this is the New World Order is. So we're leading by example a lot more like this, isn't it? And that's what the New World Order is. So we're leading by example on a lot more like this from now on.
Today is the first full day of the New World Order.
So this was on Channel 10.
Today is the first full day of the New World Order.
It depends on whether we're belligerent or not.
It's the first full day of the New World Order.
There were many. You just Google it, Australian TV. Try it in your local area. Have you checked? I know a lot of people don't watch the news, but have you checked? And we know March is their go-to day that they like to do this sort of stuff.
World Order.
Here's what's coming up. The New World Order. Our army comes marching in, partnering with police to help enforce the country's tough new quarantine.
So did you hear that?
The New World Order. Our army comes marching in, partnering with police to help enforce the country's tough new quarantine laws.
So it's not just Brad Hazard, the health minister, saying it.
The source was just 7 News. Place the New World Order.
So this was on news.com.au.
Australia's place in the New World Order. The world is changing.
New World Order, this new world of COVID. We must treat this new world of COVID, even in our own homes, with a high level. Now, this New World Order, this new world of COVID. We must treat this new world of COVID,
so
even in our own homes,
this is the
with
one.
a high level of care.
So that is the health minister, where this ABC article was saying, no, he did not say that. Those people are all conspiracy theorists. Don't listen to them. Last week, the Australian government approved a new drug that it breaks down clots or something. I saw an article about that as well. I'll have a quick look to see. But yeah, we're excuse the French, we're fucked. We really are. They are building quarantine camps at the moment, and they are laying it out like Howard Springs in the Northern Territory. The ones they're building in Queensland, I know of. There's one up north. There's one at Gladstone. They're going to build one at Pinkenba. Now, the site that they're going to build it at Pinkenba is a EPA, super site cleanup with the PFAS contamination. That stuff they use on the airports to put out the planes, that fire retardant stuff that is just toxic, that gets into the groundwater and you can't get rid of it. Well, that site where they're building this quarantine place is going to be directly on that. The other site out in Toowoomba is owned by the Wagners, and they were the ones that their dam breached and caused the flood in Toowoomba that killed a lot of people. Yeah, so much stuff going on, it's we are screwed, and I just hope that other people in the world they see what's going on in Australia and realize that it'll be happening to them soon. Now there was another one I want to share quickly. That one, okay. So I've got too many tabs open, sorry. And as for Queensland, I'll say it now. Queensland, we are going to be in a lockdown soon. Why? Because this emergency order expires on the 27th of September at midnight. So to continue this lie and this bullshit, they're going to have to pull another Harold Holt on us, pull another shifty. They'll blame the people protesting and say it's our fault. And they brought this volunteer assisted dying bill in last week as well. And I could see this being used against people in the future. Anyone that's got a disability, I can see that being used. Anyone that'll be a parasite to their order will be euthanized. That's what it done in the past, and that's if it happened in the past, it's going to happen in the future. It's like all the stuff that's going on at the moment. All this stuff happened in the past. All this check-in and contact tracing and identifying ourselves. It's all been in the past. So yeah. Let's have some something uplifting. Hi there, everyone. Hope you're having a beautiful, happy day wherever you are in the world. And I did have this recorded for you all last week, but it's just we're almost at the school holidays with my son, homeschooling, and all this stuff going on with lockdowns. Just being flat out. But another thing I'm going to say is our Premier, Anastasia Palaszczuk, she has turned around and ordered the army in on the border. Now, a Premier cannot order the army in. That is federal. So I don't know how a Premier can say army come in without the Prime Minister allowing it. Apparently the Prime Minister said he didn't do it, but the Premier is not supposed to be doing it. Say hello. It's been flat out, it's cold, but also doing exams at homeschool, and our school year is pretty much from end of January to sort of end of November. They break up early December for the school holidays over Christmas, and so and it's coming close to school holidays as well. So I'm going to just share some Paul Harvey quote. Well, self-serving politicians who convince recent generations of Americans that we could stand all in a circle with our hands in each other's pockets and somehow get rich has defeated itself everywhere except in American college. If pro is the opposite to con, what is the opposite to progress? In times like these, it helps to recall that there have always been times like these. Man, despite his artistic pretensions, his sophistications, and his many accomplishments, owes his existence to a 6-inch layer of topsoil and the fact that it rains. You can always tell when you're on the road to success, it's uphill all the way. They have gun control in Cuba, they have universal health care in Cuba, so why do they want to come here? I hope somebody to have so much of what the world calls success that people will ask me, what's your secret? And I will tell them, I just get up again when I fall down. If we cannot count on ourselves to do the right thing, how can we count on anyone or anything else? Self-government won't work without self-discipline. We've drifted away from being fishers of men to being keepers of the aquarium. The years don't always add wisdom, but they do add perspective. If there was a 50-50 chance that something can go wrong, then 9 times out of 10 it will. It's basically Murphy's Law, that one. Growth is the progress of responding positively to change. No, not everybody wants to call sin sin. Some call it mischief, some call it rebellion, and hardly anyone can disagree where we should draw a line. Our courts are trying to define pornography, yet moral law is very specific to any reader of God's word. If you don't live it, you don't believe it. Fathers are men who gave daughters away to other men who aren't nearly good enough, so they can have grandchildren who are smarter than anybody's. The things I wish for, young times and disappointment, hard work and happiness, to me, it's the only way to appreciate life. Jeez. If you found yourself in a situation where you could either save a drowning man or you could take the Pulitzer Prize winning photograph of him drowning, what shutter speed and setting would you use? Ever occurred to you why some of us can be this much concerned with animals suffering? Because the government is not. Why not? Animals don't vote. Luck is a word used to describe the success of people you don't like. Indignation of politicians is not a good measure of the gravity of any situation. Breath is perhaps the first thing we all have in life. It's how we measure the starting of life and how we measure the ending of life. The only ones to get hurt on a roller coaster are the jumpers. Like what you do. If you don't like it, do something else. Self-government won't work without self-discipline. I think that was read before. I am fiercely loyal to those willing to put their money where my mouth is. So it means he sold his soul out, basically. The spirit of independence will not cost us more than it's worth. On one steep slope ahead, holding hands is necessary. It just might be what we can learn to enjoy it. For me, success is during this early pilgrimage to leave a woodpile a little higher than I found it. In small towns as well as large, a good number of good people outnumber bad people by 100 to 1. In big towns, 100 are nervous, but in small towns, it's the one. Each generation imagines that we're all going to hell. Each generation goes through a little hell and comes out heat-tempered and a little better before. When Dr. Manner reported the total remission of breast cancer in lab animals using lacteal and conjunction with vitamins and enzymes, ACS President Ben Bird criticized him for making his announcement in public and said such announcements should only be made in proper scientific form. Stay in your seat. Comes time of troubles. It's only people who jump off the roller coaster who get hurt. Tomorrow has always been better than today, and it always will be. I've never seen a monument erected to a pessimist. The breast is seen to be the key between the emotional state, the mental state, and the physical state. It's perhaps the most important tool, and it's one whose importance is underestimated in the West. When your outgo exceeds your income, the upshot may be your downfall. Dependency arguments often come from elites, either aid agencies or governments, and say something about your attitudes to poor people. Oh, things always get better. Tomorrow will always be better. Just think about it. Is there any time in history which you'd rather live than now? Life must always go on, and yoga is not about an escape from life. Yoga is a way of dealing with life more effectively, to be able to involve oneself with one's family, one's friends, one's social commitments, one's job, and yet at the same time maintain one's center. Yeah, I'm not sure about yoga. I just get up again when I fall down. Mr. President, I love you, but you're wrong, to Richard Nixon on the Vietnam War. Yoga is a product of Eastern thought. A further complication is that early yoga teachers were both Indian and Hindu, so from the late 1800s to the early 1900s, the yoga teachers who came across were interested in Hinduism as yoga. Often what we were being taught was a mixture of two different systems. Paul Harvey was the most listened man in the history of radio. There is no one who will ever come close to him. Something you use in modern lifestyle has been made using a tool of some sort. My own interest in yoga comes from the vague understanding of Indian thought and Indian philosophy. In the late 60s, early 70s, I was first from looking at the idea of meditation and what meditation was. When people come to yoga, they are perhaps coming to it at the end of a long series of alternatives, but they're looking for something that's going to act very quickly, but yoga is not a quick answer. All my life I wanted to play golf like Jack Nicklaus, and now I do. Golf is in a game in which you yell 4, shot 6, and write down 5. For me, the breath really is a tool which allows you to understand what's happening in the mental law and what's happening on the emotional level. It also allows you to measure what's happening on a physical level. Delay says Dr. Manor, it's a luxury which people with right now cancers cannot afford. But, as all scientists know, there is a time lag of 12 to 18 months between the time a manuscript is submitted and the time it is published in a scientific journal. So I thought I'd just share some of that. That's the quote of today. Today is not June 22, I can say that much. Okay. Let's share some of America's iconic landmarks before they were finished. Do what you can with what you have, where you are. Theodore Roosevelt, 1859, the Capitol Building in Washington, D.C. Brooklyn Bridge in New York. Shows that advertising, sorry. Statue of Liberty in New York. I think that's the closest of roads, that one, the Statue of Liberty. I think also 1889, the Washington Monument, it had to stop for a while because they ran out of stone. And as they went up, it's actually, the shape of it is actually gets smaller as it goes up, like it's thicker around the base. Really strange. Apparently different Freemason groups sponsored stones, and as you walk up the staircase you can see which Freemasonry community donated stones to help get it built. They all had this big drive to try and get the rocks from the quarries and everything. 1912, Grand Central Terminal, New York. Yeah, isn't it? Just sad that, like today the buildings that are built, they have no charisma. They have no charm. It just feels, empty. Shows you how they just block pieces like a puzzle. Hollywood sign in Los Angeles, California. It was Hollywoodland. Central Park in New York, 1925. Definitely staged. 1930, Empire State Building in New York. Mount Rushmore near Keystone, South Dakota. Apparently Mount Rushmore is a giant. So I heard, or there's a giant on top of it. This one here, Rockefeller Center, New York, 1931. River Dam in the Black Canyon of the Colorado River. Shows you how it's just built up in sections. There'll be so much weight pushing along with, the water. Not at the moment. It's pretty empty at the moment. I think they'll have a problem with the intake if it gets any lower. The water won't be able to fall. They have to shut it down. 1936, the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco, California. Disneyland in Arnhem, California, 1955. It's all wood. They just used wood with plaster. 1961, the Space Needle in Seattle, Washington. Supposed to be a conspiracy that a UFO or something. St. Louis Archway, 1964. Seen a lot of TV shows that have that archway in it. After a big disaster happens, 1970, World Trade Center, New York. I mean, the buildings now are just boxes, compared to these buildings. Yeah, it's sad, isn't it? All those people. Cloud Gate in Chicago, Illinois, 2005. I didn't know the name of it. Now I do. It's called Cloud Gate. Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial in Washington, 2010. The Freemason thing with the way he is with that. 2012, One World Trade Center in New York. I don't know if this history fact is true, but it kind of gives credence to a lot of the topics we look at, doesn't it? The name of the area was Judah and Samaria from biblical times until 1950, when Jordan occupied the area, renaming it the West Bank. All living in Judah and Samaria were either killed or forced out of the area during Jordan's illegal occupation of the area, which started in 1948. Judah was renamed Syria Palestina by the Romans in an attempt to minimize the identification with the land of Israel. This is where the term Palestine derives from. No independent Arab or Palestine state ever existed in the geographical area once known as Palestine. Jerusalem has never been a capital of any Arab entity or nation. In fact, it has never been a capital of any other nation except Israel. And we need to raise our vibrations. This is the only thing the elite fear. If we just turned everything off, TVs, radios, and didn't listen to them, and actually got along with one another, listened without interrupting, spoke without accusing, give without sparring, pray without ceasing, answer without arguing, share without pretending, enjoy without complaint, trust without wavering, and forgive without punishing, promise without forgetting. If we did that, that would raise our vibrations so high they wouldn't be able to continue what they're doing because it's all frequency. They need to keep us all low and down and in this low vibrational hum. They just don't want people to rise up. And it's really bad here in Australia of people feeling alone and isolated because of these lockdowns, and so many people are resorting to horrible ways of ending their lives because they just can't cope with it anymore. And if you ever need to feel like you want to talk to someone, you give me a message, mate. I'm here day or night if anyone ever feels that way. Message me, DM me on Twitter or something. Leave me a note on my community tab. Email me. I'm here, I'll talk to you, and I won't go and tell other people what we talked about, you know. Because I've been through a lot of stuff and I know what it's like. Don't ever feel like there's no way out, because there is a way out. It's the next life. That's your reward. This life is short. The next life is what you need to really, really worry about. Here you go. A beautiful woman uses her lips for truth, her voice for kindness, her ears for compassion, her hands for charity, her heart for love. For those who do not like her, she uses a prayer. Yeah, I do that quite a bit. The truth, I like you a lot more than I've liked anyone for a long time, and to be honest, it kind of scares me. I don't want to screw up what we have, whatever it is. I've fallen pretty damn hard for you. I just hope that whatever happens, we don't ruin it. What we had before it all happened. The truth, I love you. Be a woman other women can trust. Have the courage to tell another woman direct when she has offended, hurt, or disappointed you. Successful women have a loyal tribe of loyal, honest women behind them. No haters, no backstabbers, or women who whisper behind their back. Be a woman who lifts up other women. Sophie L. Nelson. Practice the pause. When in doubt, pause. When angry, pause. When tired, pause. When stressed, pause. And when you pause, pray. Sorry works when a mistake is made, but not when trust is broken. So in life, make mistakes, but never break trust, because forgiving is easy, but forgetting and trusting again is sometimes impossible. And that's something that's really hard thing with human behavior. It's like, no matter how much good you can do after you've done something bad, they will never recognize the amount of good you do, and they'll never remember you for the good you do, because they always remember how bad it was. And that's something that really is sad. I see. It's heartbreaking. Hard times are often a blessings in disguise. Let go and let life strengthen you, no matter how much it hurts. Hold your head up and keep going. This is an important lesson to remember when you're having a rough day, or a bad month, or a crappy year. Truth be told, sometimes the hardest lessons to learn are the ones your spirit needs the most. Your past was never a mistake if you learned from it. So take it all, from crazy experiences and lessons, and place them in a box and label thank you. Before you argue with someone, ask yourself, is that person even mentally mature enough to grasp the concept of a different perspective? Because if not, there's absolutely no point. That is a good one. Yeah. Sometimes God will put a Goliath in your life for you to find the David within you. When someone is rude, keep a smile on your face, and when you stay on the high road, keep your joy and take away their power. Yeah, I like to smile at people when, they just don't like it. There's some good quotes here. Beautiful things happen when you distance yourself from negativity. A mistake that makes you humble is better than an achievement that makes you arrogant. I sit back and observe every person in my life, whether we talk every day or not. I know who motivates me and who keeps me 100. I also know who talks about me and smiles on my face. I know who I can trust, who I need to keep at a distance with, and whether I say anything or let you be fake. I know. Yeah, I'm pretty much like that. God knows what he's doing. Don't be discouraged by your closed doors. If God wants the door to open, you can be certain it will open, and all the forces of darkness cannot stop it. The past is where you learnt your lesson. The future is where you will apply that lesson. And that's it. You know, your next life is where all of what you've learnt here is going to come into fruition. A beautiful heart can bring things into your life that all the money in the world couldn't obtain. And money doesn't make you happy. It deceives you. Anyone can find the dirt in someone. Be the one that finds the gold. Proverbs 11:27. Satan himself masquerades as an angel of light. His servants also disguise them as servants of righteousness. Sometimes giving someone a second chance is like giving them an extra bullet for the gun because they missed the first time. Yeah, it can be like that, but you know, sometimes people need a second and third chance to get their mistake right. You can't judge. Should support them. Stop being ashamed of how many times you've fallen and start being proud of how many times you've got up. Yeah, that's right. Your diet is not only what you eat, it is what you watch, it is what you listen to, it's what you read, and the people you hang around. Pay attention to what you feed your soul and not just your stomach, and that is correct. And also, I was talking to off-grid John about this stuff, like, your gut is what feeds your brain, and if you have bad gut problems, it's not going to be good for the rest of your body. This is, like, pancreatic cancer and stuff like that, that's nasty stuff, and it's from bad gut bacteria and eating processed foods and things like that. The enemy is not fighting you because you're weak, he's fighting you because you're strong. Don't let anyone take you back to a level you've already come up level from. I had someone try and do that to me, and it took me a long time to get them out of my life, and they couldn't understand why I didn't want them in my life. But yeah, it's just frustrating that this person just did not understand, did not care. Everything heals. Your body heals, your heart heals, the mind heals, wounds heal. Your happiness is always going to come back. Bad times don't last. That's right. What's done is done, and what matters is now is what you're doing. That's it. I don't give up easily. I fight for what I want. It takes a lot for me to actually give up on someone or something. I can just throw away all the hard work and the time I put in it. I can't just give up because times are hard, especially if the person means so much to me. I keep fighting for what I want until I can't fight anymore, until giving up is the only option I have left. Yeah, I wouldn't give up anyway, but yeah. Some witchcraft ones and you don't even know it. Do you know any of the following? Horoscope, yoga, chakras, Kulayandi, tarot cards, hypnotism, acupuncture, astrology, Ouija boards, psychic readings, numerology, rosary beads, palm reading, fortune cookies, superstition, dream catchers, feng shui, reincarnation, spirit guides, Halloween. If so, stop. It's all witchcraft. Repent and come back to Christ and teach others that these things are a cult. And it's really hard because I like acupuncture. It really helps me. That's all I do. I used to read my horoscope and all that, and I haven't done it for a long time. This is a interesting Google shortcut, and I have used it before. You should try it if you don't trust people or companies, because it's, I don't know about your country, but here in Australia they're not supposed to do it, and you can actually report them. But yeah, don't have to have it as you have it now. You can put period spaces all in between it, and you can add other words to your email and filters, and it says sign up with a website like Facebook with username plus facebook@gmail.com, and if you get spam in the future with a specific email address, you know exactly who gave away your email address without your permission. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Hey, I'll show you some really old Google tricks. This one is old, and then you hit I'm feeling lucky and watch what it'll do. Pretty cool, eh? There's heaps more you can do. There's the barrel roll. So this is the shark one. You just put fish. Sometimes you have to put them in closed brackets. Google Mirror. It just flips everything. It's a T-Rex dinosaur game. I've played this when I've not been connected to the internet. It shows up and Microsoft does it as well. So it's T-Rex dinosaur game. So you use arrow and tap. Oh yeah, cool. Oh. Yeah, you don't even need the internet to use this. This game works without the internet. Ah! Google, what's this one? There's Pac-Man too. I don't know what to search. Thanos Snap, it's supposed to do it. Come on, Thanos. Not gonna do it. Pac-Man. This one you can play as well. Oh, Mr. Cherry! That's that one. But yeah, you get these 3 lives. I don't know if anyone's ever seen any of these, but I thought I'd share it because I've known about them. Did anyone ever play Brick? Like Space Invader Brick? This is what this one is. Like Space Invaders on the old Commodore or the old Atari. It just works left and right with your spacebar. I think it speeds up with your level. Yeah, that Google thing there makes it hard to shoot them. When you hold the spacebar down, it keeps shooting, but it doesn't do rapid fire. Although when its bombs drops, it chews out the Google as well. I'm hitting spacebar, but it ain't working. Might just stay in the one spot and might get more. But yeah, I used to do these when I was at work, when I was bored, when I was a receptionist. Before the mobile phones were popular, this is what we used to do. If you have a mouse, you can play this game. We have played these before. I'm not going to sign up. So this one's just the long Google. Play Atari Breakout game. Oh, cool. This is what I was talking about. I used to play it on the Atari. I remember it used to go really, really fast. I can't pause it. The next one is Zeg Rush. I think it just deletes everything off the page. Yeah. Gravity effect. So you just type these words like gravity in, and then you just hit the I'm feeling lucky. Between the numbers and get to 2848. The old snake game. You can create your own homepage. So, like when you have your homepage for when you open whatever browser you use, you can set up any of these games. This is another one of Google, the Game of Life. You just type that in, play Game of Life into it with the thing. And this is what it used to look like in 1998 when I used to use Google when it first came out. This is what it used to look like. And this is text. This is Google as well. John's Text Adventure. It's like a game. The goal is to make it home without dying. There are numerous different things you can do that make your rigorous journey more interesting, such as fishing rather than hunting, or crafting a walking stick so you can make the trip faster and much more. Along your journey so you can stumble across a village where you can ransack it or trade with the other villagers. And I don't think you need data for these games, because I've played these games when it's not connected to the internet. I just thought I'd show you them. I think they're pretty cool. That's what we used to do at work when we were bored. From Twisted Sister, February 28, 2013. The project that saved the White House from collapse. Built in the 1800s, the White House at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, Washington, D.C., has been a residence of every U.S. president since John Abrams in 1814. During the War of 1812, the White House was set ablaze by the British Army, destroying the interior and charring much of the exterior. Since then, the building has undergone countless exchanges, putting up due stress. The centuries-old building, a brick and sandstone structure built around a timber frame. 20th century's innovations like indoor plumbing, electricity, and heating ducts all took its toll. The 1948 Congress authorized a survey undertaken revealing just how dire the situation had become. The house was declared to be in imminent danger of collapse. The ceiling of the east room, weighing 70 pounds to the square foot, was found to be sagging as much as 18 inches. Wow. The marble grand staircase was in imminent danger of collapse. Supporting bricks built secondhand in 1880 were disintegrating. The mansion's plumbing was deemed makeshift, unsanitary. The resident's bathtub was sinking into the floor. The wooden beams had weakened by cutting and drilling for plumbing and overwiring over 150 years. The addition of a steel roof and the third floor in 1927 added weight to the building could no longer handle. With the cost of completely tearing down and rebuilding the White House from scratch was found to be cheaper then a full interior restoration renovation. Truman deemed the cultural value of keeping the original structure intact greater than any economic cost savings a total teardown would provide. So in December 1948, President Truman moved to the Blair House across the street, and so began a multi-year renovation that would cost 5.7 million USD. The entire process was faithfully documented by Abby Rail, photographer. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. I think that's where I lost part of the, like, I made a video. I made that twice, that bit. That video, I made it once, got to editing, and then it just become corrupted. So I made it again, the same thing happened, and third time's lucky. And then it happened again on another video that I made. And I think I'm going to look into who owns Screenomatic, because they connect up with that Zoom. You can do Zoom calls. I'm starting to think it might be Chinese owned. Noticing that the AI is cutting in more and more. I'm definitely shadow banned on YouTube. I am not getting notifications. Everyone, before you go, just check to see that the bell's on. I noticed a lot of people haven't got the bell on. The bell's been removed on people's accounts that I had the bell clicked. Like, I literally had it clicked, and it had been undone. So, and my views are just not moving at all. And I know it's been watched because, like, it has a view count saying it has, and then you go back and then it's just gone. So, and people will upload a video and I won't get to see it until tomorrow. And it'll say tomorrow that it was uploaded 2 hours ago, but it'll say it was posted, 14, 15 hours ago. Yeah, I agree, Skull. Yeah, I've looked into all the transvestigation. Yeah. Once you become awake, yeah, it's not so much awake. Once you get to know your world and know that you cannot trust your own eyes, or your heart, and it's so easy to be deceived. So easy. But I just want to thank you all for being here. I'm going to love you and leave you all. Raise your vibrations. That's all I can say. And just put a barrier of protection around all of you. And no harm come to you. And none of your family gets sick or anything, any bad. Just so much negative lately. And we need to stop it. So, yeah. 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 Thank you, Alan. Thanks, Alan. And yeah, thank you. I appreciate it all. So, yeah. Love you all. Raise your vibrations. God bless. Bye.